What if I told you to close your eyes right now and just picture a plush baby elf in a onesie?
Okay, I'm picturing it. Sounds kind of cute.
Right, but before you start thinking of something adorable you'd put in a crib, I need you to add a row of sharpened teeth and like a vibe that can really only be described as slightly devil-possessed.
Oh, wow. Okay, definitely not for a crib then.
No,
Yeah.
definitely not. So, got that image in your head.
Yep, unfortunately.
Okay, now I dare you to guess what someone actually paid for a 4-foot human-sized version of this mass-produced plastic and fabric toy at a Chinese auction in June of 2025.
I mean, for a giant creepy elf, maybe like $1,000.
You might want to sit down for this. I'm $150,000.
Wait, what? 150 grand for a plush toy.
Yes.
A factory-made plush toy that sounds like it belongs in a horror movie.
Exactly. And welcome to the deep dive. Today we are looking at one of the most bizarre economic anomalies of the last few years, which is the Labubu toy bubble.
I am so ready for this.
Our mission today is to figure out how this creepy, cute plushie broke like all the fundamental rules of economics.
Because that price tag definitely breaks reality.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're going to explore what happens when an asset has absolutely zero fundamentals, how this massive counterfeit underworld sprung up, and probably the craziest part of the whole story, why the creator of the toy intentionally murdered its own golden goose.
Intentionally. Man, I mean, this really is a perfect case study in, like, modern consumer psychology.
Oh, absolutely. Because just to establish how absurd the pricing got, the article mentions that a 40-inch Mega Labubu goes for 850 pounds in London. That's about $1,150.
Which is just wild for a piece of vinyl and cotton.
Right. And back in 2025, fans were literally queuing for hours outside these stores just to enter a raffle.
Wait, to buy the toy?
No, not even to buy the toy, just to win the right to buy the toy.
That is insane. Because, you know, from a traditional finance perspective, it's just so weird. Like, if you're looking at stocks or real estate, we have ways to measure a bubble, right?
Sure, like looking at earnings or whatever.
Exactly. With a company, you look at its cash flow. And when the stock price completely detaches from the money the company actually makes, you know it's a bubble.
Right, the alarm bells start ringing.
But how do you even measure a bubble for a factory-made plush toy?
Yeah.
I mean, it has no cash flow, no utility, and like absolutely zero intrinsic value to begin with.
Yeah, that is the big question. It's, well, it's kind of like trying to put a price tag on a cloud.
A cloud.
Yeah, because there's no baseline cost or, practical utility. The only thing actually setting the price is an illusion of scarcity. It's just a shared community delusion.
Mm-hmm.
People want it simply because other people want it.
I see. So it's pure hype.
Exactly. And where there is irrational greed and hype, scammers inevitably follow. Which brings us to the second part of this wild ride.
The fake clouds, so to speak.
Right. And there's a great historical parallel here. Have you heard of Charles Kindleberger's classic book, Manias, Panics, and Crashes?
Yeah, the one that talks about the old railway booms.
Yes. So back in the 19th century, scammers would literally sell fake stocks for railway companies that didn't even exist.
Because everyone was just blindly throwing money at anything with the word railway in it.
Exactly. And fast forward to 2025, that exact same opportunistic greed birthed an entirely new black market. Enter the Lafufu.
Wait, the Lafufu, that sounds like a joke.
I know, it sounds hilarious, but it was a booming black market of counterfeit dolls, and the details on how to spot a fake Lafufu are just wild.
Let me guess, they look completely different.
Not exactly. I mean, buyers basically had to become forensic analysts. They'd look for really sloppy paint jobs, but the absolute ultimate test for a real Labubu was its teeth.
Its teeth! You've got to be kidding me.
I'm completely serious. A genuine Labubu has exactly 9 teeth. Not 8, not 10, exactly 9.
Oh my gosh.
So you have grown adults spending thousands of dollars sitting there counting the little sharpened teeth on a fake devil elf.
That is just... I mean, that perfectly proves the absurdity of it all. Doesn't the massive scale of these fakes kind of prove that buyers didn't even care about the actual toy anymore?
What do you mean?
Well, like, if they are spending that much time authenticating teeth, they just wanted the symbol of the hype, right?
Yeah.
Just so they could resell it.
Oh, absolutely. The art was totally irrelevant. And just to show you the scale of this, in the first 9 months of 2025, UK border officials seized £3.5 million worth of fake toys.
3.5 million.
Yeah, and 90% of them were Lafifas.
That is staggering.
Right. Millions of pounds of fake, pointy-toothed elves sitting in customs warehouses.
Wow. Okay, so usually when things get this out of hand, a bubble bursts because people run out of money or, the banks intervene.
Right, the music stops.
Yeah, the music stops. But you mentioned earlier that this bubble was murdered.
Yes, murdered by its own father, basically.
Okay, you have to explain that.
So Pop Mart, the company that created Labubu, they basically looked at this insane secondary market, the scalpers, and they intentionally crushed it.
Wait, they popped their own bubble?
Yep. They increased their monthly production of these plush toys by 10 times.
10 times.
They went from making 3 million toys a month to 30 million toys a month.
I mean, 30 million a month is insane. But let me play devil's advocate here for a second.
Go for it.
Why would a brand intentionally destroy the hype around its own product? Like, look at Supreme or limited edition sneakers. The crazy secondary market makes those brands look more popular, right?
Sure. It creates an aura of exclusivity.
Exactly. So why would Pop Mart just kill that?
Well, it's like, imagine a designer who prints a super limited edition sneaker, right?
Okay.
If that designer suddenly turns on a machine and prints endless copies of that exact same sneaker for retail price, what happens?
Well, the scarcity completely vanishes.
Exactly. By flooding the market, the scalper's reason for existing totally collapses. Because anyone can just go buy the sneaker at the store.
Okay, I get that, but why do it?
Because of corporate logic. Pop Mart is a publicly traded company. They don't actually see a dime of that insane markup on eBay.
Oh, right. The scalpers get all that profit.
Exactly. Pop Mart cares about its actual stock market investors. And those investors want long-term, reliable, predictable returns. They don't want a chaotic, unpredictable, one-hit wonder.
Ah, that makes so much sense. So by making $30 million a month, they capture all that revenue directly.
Yep. They traded the illusion of exclusivity for massive, predictable scale.
So they literally just pulled the plug on the scalpers.
They pulled the plug and the bubble popped.
So what does the wreckage actually look like today?
Well, looking at the data from 2026, it's pretty stark. Global Google searches for Labubu have totally crashed. They're down by over 90% since the peak in July.
Wow, 90%. That's a massive drop-off.
And Pop Mart's stock price is about half of what it was back in August.
But are people still buying them at all?
Oh, yeah. In London, Saturday deliveries still sell out by the afternoon.
Yeah.
But the manic overnight queues outside the stores, those are completely gone.
It's actually really interesting to think about why this crash is uniquely harmless compared to, historical financial crashes.
What do you mean?
Well, think about the 2008 housing crisis. When that bubble burst, banks collapsed because there was so much borrowed money. It was all built on leverage.
Right, people were taking out massive loans they couldn't pay back.
Exactly. But with this toy crash, there was no borrowed money. Nobody is taking out a mortgage for a plush elf.
God, I hope not.
Right. So it didn't trigger a credit crunch. No banks went under.
That's a really good point. Really, the only people who lost their shirts were the greedy scalpers who hoarded these toys at peak prices.
Left holding bags of Lafufas.
Exactly. And for the genuine fans, the bubble bursting is actually a really good thing.
Because they don't have to deal with the crazy markups anymore.
Right. They can finally just walk into a store and buy the toy they like.
Which is how it should be.
Exactly. So just to kind of wrap our heads around this whole wild ride, we went from a $150,000 toy with sharpened teeth to the 9-toothed Lafufi fakes, all the way to a bubble being popped by 30 million factory-made plushies.
It really is an incredible story.
It is, and it kind of makes you think about your own life, Like, I'd ask anyone listening, have you ever paid a massive premium for something just because everyone else agreed it was rare?
Oh, I'm definitely guilty of that.
Right. Even if it was just, mass-produced plastic or fabric.
It's so easy to get caught up in the hype.
It really is. And it leaves you with a really provocative final thought to ponder.
What's that?
Well, if a single company can create a multi-million-dollar frenzy and then just destroy it simply by turning a dial at a factory to print more, does scarcity in our modern consumer world actually exist at all?
Oh, wow. That's a deep question.
Right. Or is it just a temporary marketing illusion that we all willingly fall for?
Something to think about next time you're standing in line for something.
Exactly. Well, thanks for tuning in to this deep dive, and we will catch you next time.